Welcome back to Harbaugh. In passing President Obama's historic economic recovery bill, 3 Republican senators wound up holding the keys to its success. But as the process was unfolding, many people asked, why did Democrats need 60 votes? Why can't they just force Republicans to filibuster if they disagree? It's been years since we've seen a good old drawn-out filibuster. Perhaps the most well-known is Jimmy Stewart's portrayal of Senator Jefferson Smith's epic 23-hour filibuster in one of the great movies of all times, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Just get up off the ground. That's all I ask. Get up there with that lady that's up on top of this Capitol dome, that lady that stands for liberty. Take a look at this country through her eyes if you really want to see something. And you won't just see scenery. You'll see the whole parade of what man's carved out for himself after centuries of fighting.
That was the great Gene Arthur there, rooting for him. Why aren't we seeing more filibusters now? What are the political perils of staging a real live, bring out the cot, sleep all night, keep talking filibuster? 2 veterans of the United States Senate join me now from the world's greatest deliberative body. I bring you Trent, Lott, the former leader of the Republican Party, and one of the great deal makers of all time, Senator John Breaux of Louisiana. I want to go to you, because I don't understand this. It seems to me if somebody wants to make a fool of themselves filibustering, it ought to be over something that really, really, really matters, a matter of principle.
Sure.
And if it's just over how much to spend on the budget, keep quiet. So why did the whole debate begin where the leader of the Senate, he's supposedly a tough guy, Harry Reid, immediately accepted the validity of a 60-vote requirement? Why did he do that? Why didn't he just say, I can't believe the Republicans would filibuster a bill that's so important to the country in an emergency. Go ahead and make my day. Why didn't he do that?
You know, conservatives used to ask the same thing about me when I was a majority leader and we had a majority of Republicans in the Senate. It's easy to say, it's very hard to do. First of all, you can't make senators filibuster. Secondly, right after I came in, I decided I was going to, sort of show my macho, and I decided I was going to break a filibuster by one very capable senator, Ted Kennedy. John Breaux remembers it because we were on the same side of the issue against Ted. I started fighting him like on a Thursday, and it was the end of the session in 1996. A week later, I got it done, and he could have drug it out another week. One determined, capable senator.
But why didn't you make Ted Kennedy, when he was really fit to do this, make him stand there and talk around the clock? Why don't you do that?
You cannot do that.
Why not?
The rules are, there's so many different rules. For one thing, all he had to do, what he did first on Thursday night, he was said, read the bill. All stop. The rules are, unless you get unanimous consent, you have to read the legislation. And I said, okay, read it. I went on down to the dining room, started eating. About 2.5 hours later, he said, oh, well, we'll let that go. There's so many procedural hurdles. Now, we're getting down in the weeds. Here's the point. Every now and then, I think a majority leader should show that if it's really important to the country, I will break a filibuster. I'll take however much time it takes. But you need, most of the time, to try to find a way to get agreement, get things done.
I got to tell you, the public is going to, I haven't seen the Senate, do a whole lot in 35, 40 years. You did voting rights, you did civil rights, and then people can remember those. Now, maybe one of our producers made the exception. Yeah, you did welfare reform. That was an important bill. But generally, if you need 60, it means you get nothing done. Well, Senator, you were in the middle politically. Wouldn't we do better with majority rule? Look, we don't have free elections nominations. We have something called superdelegates, one of the biggest jokes in history because we don't trust elected delegates. We have the electoral college because we don't trust popular vote. And now we've got a 60-vote requirement in the Senate because we don't trust majority rule in the United States Senate. When are we going to trust and say, okay, now it's time to let the majority rule so we can get health care, we can get energy, we can get a better education system? We're not getting anything done this year probably because of the 60-vote rule. That's my bet in the end. My bet in the end is the system will bring down Obama. Not the Republicans, the system.
Well, Chris, the rules say that it takes 60 votes to stop a filibuster.
Change the rules.
Wait a minute. It says 60 votes to stop a filibuster. It doesn't say it takes 60 votes to stop the threat of a filibuster. What is happening now is just a threat of a filibuster. Just having some members saying we're not going to vote for it. Make them show they're not going to vote for it. Make them get on the floor. Make them give a speech.
Well, why didn't Harry Reid do that? Why didn't Harry Reid do that?
They're opposing
Bring in the cots, stay all night.
Make them stand on the floor.
And then you know what the media would do? the media would go nuts. They'd say, we have a chance to do something about this falling economy right now. And right now we'd be doing a show called The Dow's Down to Almost 6,000, and the Republicans are still on the floor talking. You guys would be dead.
Well, first of all,
you'd be dead right now.
You know, the last time we had an occurrence like that where you actually had a filibuster overnight,
Right.
it was over filibustering federal judges' judicial nominations. Frist, the majority leader at the time, in 2006 made that happen. They went all night. The next morning, you know, a couple of Democrats were around. Nothing happened.
They're the cuts. We got the pictures.
But here's the other side of it.
What's wrong with that?
Look, now we have the White House, the House, and the Senate all under the same control. The last vestige to make sure that things are carefully considered, thoroughly considered, is the Senate. And so...
Yeah, you got three Eastern Republicans scared for their lives, and they voted with... I mean, voted with the Democrats. So what? What did that accomplish?
They got 60
What did it accomplish?
The problem is they're not even filibustering. It's just saying we may filibuster. I'd say call their bluff. Say, all right, if you're going to filibuster, get on the floor and do it.
You mentioned judges. The most controversial judge we've had besides Bork, who was borked, was Clarence Thomas, right? You know, he got 52 votes. He didn't get 60.
Right.
Why are we making it tougher every year?
Because the Democrats did not insist that he get 60 votes.
They should.
Like was... No. If you go back,
you're switching.
No, I'm saying, look, make them filibuster. If they're going to filibuster or threaten it, they have to get out there and speak.
We have the world's greatest democracy, but it's not a democracy because we have all these obstacles to majority rule. And what they're going to do, I can see this happening between now and Christmas. We're not going to get anything done.
No,
and everybody's going to sit around and complain.
I think you're
we got 58, we didn't get 59. Al Franken's finally here.
The Republicans cannot filibuster every issue. They're going to have to pick and choose. There will be some issues where they'll lay down the gauntlet and they'll filibuster. They have to.
Okay.
But like on education, I don't know. Are Republicans really going to go to the mat and filibuster an education bill?
No, they just say they will. They don't have to.
See, it's the threat of the 60 that's ruined this thing.
You know what?
We have nothing to fear but fear itself.
You know what? The one thing the majority leader of the Senate does not have?
What?
Time.
Okay.
Well, if they want to waste the time filibustering, I think you'll show them what they are.
Let me tell you, the modern media likes speed and action.
Yeah, they like
action.
They like a
They don't like a bunch of guys standing there reading it. You're out there on the floor reading the New Testament for 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, don't know who the good guys are.
And by the way, if you don't have these delays, you wind up with a stimulus bill, which nobody read, nobody knew what was in it. It raises spending. It's going to raise taxes. It's going to wind up cutting defense. This is good.
Well, it's better than what your crowd left us with. Anyway, thank you, Trent Lott. Thank you, John Breaux. We got a Dow dropping down to 6,000 based on the economic policies of the last 8 years. I wouldn't brag. Up next, with great respect, sir.